Hi everyone, welcome to another video with exercisesforinjuries.com. My name is Kaya, a yoga instructor and kinesiology student here with the team. Today we're going to be going through 4 yoga poses for runners or walkers. So 4 yoga poses that I thought would be really important to share with any of you that run or walk. Obviously we use some similar muscles when we run and when we walk. So we're going to go through a strengthening exercise and then through 3 more stretching, lengthening kind of stretches after that. So first one is a warrior 3 posture. So the reason we're going to do this one, it works on balance, it works our stabilizing muscles. So really important muscles in our glutes, our hip area, our core that we need in order to move effectively when we run and walk and to avoid injury. So a warrior 3, we're going to stand with really good posture. So shoulders over hips, over ankles, and then we're going to ground down and through one foot and start to lift the other foot off the ground. And hands can be on the hips if that's easier, or out behind you, or out in front. Doesn't matter. It might be nice to start on the hips. And we're just going to start to lift that other foot up behind us. So full warrior 3 pose is coming down kind of parallel with the ground. But to start, we're just going to start to lift that back toe up, trying to keep the hips in line. So we're not having one forward or one back. Keeping the belly button, pulling back towards the spine. Shoulders are relaxed. We're slowly coming forward. The more you engage the core, the easier it will be to stay balanced. You can find a spot on the floor. Taking 3 to 5 deep breaths on one side, coming back up, and then moving on to the other side. So this might be something that you do before you walk or run as a way to kind of wake up those stabilizing muscles, or something that you can just do every day to keep those muscles working and that sense of balance going. Okay, getting into now opening up some of those muscles that get really tight when we run. We're going to go into a low lunge. So feel free to put something underneath the knee. We're going to come into a low lunge. So back knees on the floor. We want that knee in front to be behind the toes. So if the knee is like this, we need to lengthen the stance out. Again, pulling both hips in line. So tendency is for the hip of the leg that's in front to kind of drop forward. We want to pull it back. Good. So what we're doing here is we're stretching into the hips. The more you push the hips forward and press into those back toes, you're going to start to stretch through the quad and the hip flexor of the back leg. So you'll have to play around with how much you need to let your hips drop forward. But what we don't want is to collapse into the hips and arch the back. We want to make sure we're pulling the core in and we're actually kind of growing up out of the hips. So we're going to have to pull the pelvis back as if we were bringing our tailbone down towards the floor. And that movement of the pelvis, that posterior tilt, is going to help to stretch through the hip flexor and the quad. Muscles that really tend to be overused and get really tight with walking and running. And then we go into the other side. So with this one, spending 30 seconds to a minute or 5 to 10 deep breaths. I prefer to go by breaths when it's yoga related, but if you'd rather use a timer, spending about 30 seconds. And with all of these, going through them 2 or 3 times. So once you've done it for 20 seconds on each side, you could do that again, or kind of do it as a circuit. So do them all once and then do them all again and maybe a 3rd time. Okay, so runner's lunge, it's called that for a reason. So from this position of the low lunge, we're going to bring the hands down, but this is where you could use blocks, books, something that you can help if it's too hard to get the hands all the way to the ground. We're going to shift our weight back. So this hip is kind of stacked over the knee. Other leg out in front, you can pull the toes back towards you. And now we're getting this really good stretch through the back of the leg, so the hamstring and the calf. If you find that you have to be really rounded in the upper body, that's when you need to get blocks so you can keep the spine long. Again, 30 seconds here to a minute. Taking full deep breaths into the low belly. And then however is easiest for you, you can transition. Again, kind of stacking the back hip over the back knee, trying to keep things lined up. That again, with that leg out in front is going to pull that hip forward. We want to pull that hip back. So in this case, my left hip back, right hip forward. All right. Last one is a figure 4. So we're going to get down on the ground. This one can also be done from a chair though, if it's too difficult to be all the way down on the ground. So, crossing one ankle over the knee. We'll just start by pressing this leg away. So I'm peeling my toes back towards my shin in order to protect the knee joint. And if this isn't enough, then I can start to pull the thigh into the chest, pressing that bent knee away from me with my elbow. 30 to 60 seconds, 5 or 10 deep breaths. So here we're getting into the glutes and the hips that often get tight when we run. Same thing on the other side. Making sure you're taking deep breaths. Good. All right. So those are your 4 yoga poses for running or walking. I hope that you enjoyed them. If you like this video, please leave a comment, like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel so we know that you guys want more of this kind of stuff. Lastly, make sure to check out exercisesforinjuries.com. There's a search bar. You can put in whatever your injury or pain is, and there's a ton of free resources for you all there. So thank you for watching. I will see you in a future video. Bye.